This topic is going to be about the basic benefits of steady-state cardio performed fast in the morning versus post-workout HIIT training. Do you want to start?
Sure. We actually did a full video that's going to be both on the Camp Jansen platform as well as on our YouTube about cardio last week. So if you've not yet seen that, I would highly recommend that you check that out. When it comes to cardio considerations, I would start off recommending getting away with the least amount that you can based off of the goal. The first goal for me and the first reason why I put cardio in is for general heart health. And then after that, it's going to be the caloric expenditure versus input versus output. That's what we're trying to achieve. So when it comes to that, my biggest goal in prescribing cardio is to do so in a means that's not going to negatively impact your performance or your training. So I would recommend most often to start out with a steady state. Now, there's a ton of positive merit to HIIT cardio, but the issue with me and HIIT cardio long term is that it's going to impact your ability to recover. And then especially for those of you, here's where you need to really be honest with yourself. Like, if you truly train as hard as you can, if you give as much output as you can during your sets, doing that in addition to HIIT, there's going to be a recovery gap there. If you're somebody that can't really know how or hasn't been taught how to give 100% effort under load, but you feel okay and safe giving effort under a HIIT form of cardio, then absolutely I would recommend that. So it really just comes down to where you're at in your current training environment, your training age, the benefit for you. But whenever I'm prescribing cardio, what's most important to me is monitoring the cardio versus the recovery variable, so that way it's not negatively impacting training, but yet we're still getting the fat loss that we need to during a contest prep phase. So also something I want to say really quick is that I'm not anti-HIIT cardio. I use it for my girls often, but I use it during parts of prep when their body has higher fat levels, because as the fat levels decrease, also your ability to recover is going to decrease to some extent as well. So I pay really close attention to that. And also within HIIT cardio, your inflammation is going to be higher, which also needs to be monitored, especially for females. If you've been following Nadia and I's series about her prep, that's something that we continue to talk about, is inflammation markers for a girl. And not so much inflammation markers on a blood work, but inflammation markers in terms of the woman's composition and where they're at, cosmetically. So that's kind of some insight from my perspective as far as how to prescribe cardio. Again, I'm a get the most out of the least with a lot of variables within contest preps, and I think it also applies to cardio as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the perks of fasted cardio are that it's less intense. It requires not as the all-out energy that a HIIT session requires. Even during an off-season, it's nice to just start your day with 20 minutes in the morning. Just get that done and dusted first thing. The HIIT cardio, I know I, for example, did more sessions in the beginning of my prep. I had more energy. I had more body fat. I was eating more food. I was looking forward to those sessions even because I just felt better to do them, to perform them.
Yeah, you can be assertive. That's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And later on in your contest prep, if you were to continue with 4 or 5 HIIT sessions a week, which isn't the case now for me, but we've since reduced that. But if you were to continue with a higher amount of HIIT sessions compared to your fasted sessions, your recovery would be affected negatively. Your injury risk would be higher. You probably wouldn't be able to give as much to a HIIT session as you would a steady state session, being that it requires, again, more of your all-out energy to perform a HIIT session at maximum capacity, at maximum effort. Now, fasted cardio in the morning, when it's done just a steady state, I think that it's more effective, being that it's being done first thing in the morning when I'm on an empty stomach, when I don't have glycogen stores that are full. It does take more time because you're going to need more minutes out of that lower heart rate to be effective. But like Matt said, using the least effective, the minimum dose, not the least effective, but the minimum dose that is the most effective over time is going to get you further, whereas starting off with a bunch of intense sessions right off the bat, you're kind of stripping away from that variable. So essentially when you're later on down the road, when you have more fat to pull off, you don't have much wiggle room to adjust. So right now I'm just using the minimum effective dose of my cardio, which is walking on the treadmill. I monitor my heart rate. I keep that consistent, and I think that's important for you guys to look at too when you're doing your cardio, is making sure that your variables are consistent across the board. They're easily able to be measured and just keep track of, and just keep account of your recovery, how well you're able to perform in the gym if you feel like your cardio is taking a lot out of your training sessions to where you can't train as well as effectively, because both those things tag along with each other, and they kind of run off each other. So if you're overexerting yourself during your HIIT sessions and you have too many of those, you're not going to train as well, which is ultimately going to affect your fat loss during a contest prep too. So that's my take on cardio sessions, on fasted cardio in the morning, steady state cardio, on HIIT cardio. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I mean, I think what she just said was excellent. The only thing I can add to that, in just addition to what she said, is one of the most important parts of being successful in contest prep is setting yourself up within a consistent structure. And AM fasted cardio, to me, is a part of that structure. It's setting your day, it's setting your routine, it's setting your mindset for the day. You know, I've used cardio so many times just to kind of set my mind for the day, and getting that alone time, that me time. And again, this isn't like comparing and contrasting steady state versus HIIT, but
it's just a benefit of
steady state allows that, whereas HIIT is so mentally taxing that it's almost like you need to come back down from HIIT, whereas steady state kind of accentuates and kind of brings your day up, at least for me.
Yeah, if you're able to watch videos and watch Netflix on your phone while you're doing a HIIT session, you're
not
wrong.
doing HIIT. Yeah, absolutely. So